YouTube. How's it going? You good? Welcome to Tech-Bodge Emporium. In this one, guys, we're going to be having a look at this, the Live Gamer Ultra S. The S is an important bit. It's an important bit. It's also upgrading me. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll understand that I've been kind of nursing my old capture card. Now, why did I go with this capture card? A couple of reasons. Firstly, the capture card I've been using is the older version of this one. I've been using the GC55-3. This is the GC55-3 Pro, also known as the Live Gamer Ultra S. The capture card I was using was the Live Gamer Ultra, so it looked like this. So basically, the advantage to this is it firstly fits completely in the exact same footprint as my old one. Here is my old one. It also, we'll get into this, but it also kind of deals with my biggest complaint when it comes to the old one. I bought this second hand like a couple of years ago, and it's been good to me. I think, to be honest, half of its problems have been me. I mean, look at it. But my biggest gripe and my biggest problem with this thing, yeah, was that the fan in it, I don't know whether it starts off silent, but the fan in it was so goddamn whiny that I had to do this. Basically, I added heat sinks to it. There's a video on my channel, but basically I added an extra bit of heat sink to it, and I connected this fan up to the connector in there. It's a little bit low power draw, but it does get the job done. And this is like a magnetic fan that I found inside. Remember those old sky boxes? Like, you know, the one with the rounded front. It's like a dark grey blue with like silver bits. There's a little dial in the front. Maybe just a UK thing, I don't know. But it was in one of those, and it runs completely silent. It's a hell of a little fan. So I attached it to this. So yeah, this became really quite intermittent. Other than that, it's been absolutely awesome. But the advantage to getting the same footprint, pretty much, is this is going to fit in the exact same place that this did. There's also some advantages to it. We'll go through that now before we have a look, and then we'll have a look what's in the box, and I'll explain some of the advantages that this one is going to have over this one, and how they've kind of solved the problem that I had with this, which is obviously the fan and how whiny it was. As this happened, this fixed that problem, but it came along with its own level of jank. Right, so should we have a look at the jargon and stuff, what comes with this, and sort of my reasoning for going with AVerMedia and this particular unit again. We'll go through that now. Right, guys, so as you can see here, I've got lined up here, this is my old capture card, so this one's this one, and then I don't know whether you'll be able to make out some of the text because of you know, video capturing and stuff. It is a phone, but it's supposed to be pretty good. And obviously this one here is this one here. So the differences that I get part of my upgrade. So the pass-through is basically pretty much the same. This old unit gave me a pass-through of 60 HDR60, 144 hertz, 1440p and 240 hertz 1080p. Wicked little thing, yeah? So if you can find this unit second hand, understand that the fan in it does get whiny, and I looked online and it's literally a problem. That I fixed it this way. I'm not necessarily telling you to do that, but the fan in it is whiny. So what I would suggest is maybe either have an inline switch on that USB link or something just to power it off, or just unplug it, because otherwise it's just going to sit in the background and whine and whine and whine. Doesn't do it now. It's a good little foot, but I'm probably going to just like keep this for anytime I want to drop in someone else's gameplay or something into the loop. say I'm playing with my son or something, I can record his game footage with this now, and then you know, drop it into the video, which would be fun. So yeah, over on this side, basically the pass-through is pretty much the same. It comes with HDR and VRR straight out the box. 4K 60, 144 at 1440p, and 240 at 1080p. So the pass-through is exactly the same. However, the capture on this old one, will only capture 30 FPS at 4K, 60 FPS at 1440p, but it did capture 120 FPS at 1080p, and it would do 60 FPS at 1080p HDR. Didn't really say anything else other than that. And variable refresh rate, VRR, basically is the same, hashtagged after the firmware update. So over here, it's actually an improvement. So we've got 4K 60 it'll capture, and it'll capture up to 144 FPS and 1440p, and 1080p 240. And then obviously in HDR it'll capture 1440p 30 and 1080p 60. Won't capture 4K. But to be honest, I don't play in HDR, so I'm not going to be capturing in HDR, so that's not even an issue to me. Yeah, the big bonus for me is the fact that, you know, it says it there now, VR, variable refresh rate, which means it plays nice with G-Sync, basically. But what's going to be the advantage for me? And I know some of you are thinking, well, most people record in 60 FPS. That is very, very true. That is very, very, very true. I record in 60 FPS, but that's only because YouTube doesn't really allow me to upload any faster, any more than 60 anyway. And Davinci, which is what I use to edit on, that doesn't get to do more than 60, because every time I've ever given it a 120 FPS file, it just basically reverted down to 27 FPS. So I was like, nope, I'll just record at 60 in OBS. However, I will say this, that when I was recording, because over here I used to be at 1080p before I moved over to 1440p, and when I was playing around with it, when I was recording with the old one, when I was recording with this, at 1080p 120, it allowed it to give me a smoother 60 FPS in OBS, because basically it was feeding the GPU 120 FPS, and then the 120 FPS was allowing it allowed the GPU to then select the 60 FPS, which smoothed a lot of the tearing out and stuff like that, which is awesome. So having that 144 is so much better at 1440p, because that's what I play at these days. I've got a 165 Hz monitor. Other than that, you know, it's got video formats, YUY2, NV12, RGB24, PO10, that's for HDR, and MJPEG. And the dimensions are basically, you know, its footprint's going to be the same as this. We'll have a look what sort of differences there is once we get the box open. We'll have a look, and I'll tell you what this is in a second. But before that, right, so yeah guys, over here, right, this has got the same pass-through as this HD60X, which is 160 quid, right? It's got the same pass-through as that, but it's got the same capture capability as this 4K Pro. The only thing that this doesn't have that this has is access to the PCIe lanes, so it's a little bit faster, a little bit less on that latency kind of thing, like. But I don't mind too much about that when it comes to recording or streaming, to be honest. I don't mind, right? Also, the one thing it has is that 8K pass-through at 60, but it doesn't have anything past that. So this has got the same capture capability, because it's far better than this. This has got the same capture capability as this unit here, the 4K Pro. Now I'm going to say this now, that Elgato 4KX is a better unit than anything here, and it's 230 quid. It just happens to be USB, same as this. So it's 230 quid, that's actually probably the best option in that price range, if I'm honest. I don't know, I'd have to look into it, but, and yeah, you're gonna get a loss through the USB. It's just gonna happen because you're using the USB interface, but I go, the USB that links to my capture card literally goes straight onto the motherboard, onto the USB port on the motherboard, like, so there's no issues there. It's also powered through that, like, which has its own little 6-pin that goes through to it. If you've ever seen the orange cable on the attached to the two 24-pin on the back system, that's literally the 6-pin that powers the USB-C port there. So yeah, this gets plugged into that anyway, so it's fully powered and stuff, so it's not an issue. And yeah, everything's sweet. Like this for 125 quid, so it's cheaper than this one here, and it's better than it. It's cheaper than this one here, it's not better than it, but it's 100 quid more, 105 pound more. So that's like $120 more, just so that you get high refresh rate capture at 4K and pass through at 4K. So if you're at 4K and you're a bougie bastard anyway, so you may as well just pay the extra 100 and get that 130 quid 4KX from Elgato and just be a bougie bastard. As I am at 1440p and I have no intention to go in a 4K, having a 144 hertz pass through and capture on this bad boy for 125 quid is absolutely worth it, especially when I use a 165 hertz monitor. So it's kind of perfect for me. Yeah, I suppose you have to weigh it up, but like I said, it's got the capture of this one, but it's got like the pass through of this one. This one's better, but in context of 105 quid just so that you can have high refresh rate at 4K when I never record at 4K. It just isn't any point for me. So this is literally an absolute banger of a deal. So shall we see what's in the box? Means it's glove time. Ah, yes, yes. The gloves are here to stay, guys. The gloves are here to stay. I feel like I add a little professional look to the channel and the obviously showing of the goods. So, shall we get to showing the goods? Here they are. Let's have a look what's in the box. Now, obviously I've done the obligatory make sure that it's not a brick in the box cut, so I apologise. But I always do something stupid when knives and blades are involved, so it's probably best not to do it on camera. So, let's have a look. What's the unboxing like? So it's nice. It slides out nicely, that. We've got a bit of your best friend for seamless, reliable live streaming. Sounds like a plan. Sounds good. Push the limits to the game with 2.1. It says it's 2.0 on the site, like, but ooh, still premium. But let's go. So we got a little booklet, and we've got the box here. Seems big. I messed it. Here it is. Here's the main event. It's nicely positioned in there. What else do we get in the box? Before we have a look at that, shall we have a look, see what's in the box? So, behind door number 2, we have some cables. Very nice, very nice. Well, we've got HDMI there. Very nice. And then we've got USB-C to A. 3.1, I'm guessing. That doesn't matter because I use USB-C to C, so it's going straight through to USB-C on the motherboard, so that's not a problem. Now, I would normally take stuff like this apart, but if you have a look, there's not a whole lot going on in there. There's no heatsink. So I'm guessing that it's just literally a chipboard, and that would be boring to look at, and it just seems pointless to take apart. So, but it does mean that AVerMedia have fixed my gripe and everyone else's gripe by developing their technology to not need a heatsink anymore in this thing. So it's obviously passively cooled, and that's perfectly fine for the hardware that's in there. So you've got USB 3 or USB-C on that side, and then you've got the HDMI in and the HDMI out. Now I just we'll have a look at the footprint. So I'm guessing basically these are just the same footprint. They are the same thickness. I would say they've literally used the exact same mold. They've just took away the other hash in there. Other than that, the mold looks basically the same. And obviously, because they don't need a whole vent in the middle. So for context, you can see the heatsink in the middle there, yeah? For context. There is definitely nothing in that one. And obviously, that one's full in the middle. I know this one's full in the middle because I put the friggin' heatsink on top of the heatsink that they had in there, so it's got a hell of a chunk in there. But yeah, they've got the same footprint as such. And more importantly for me, out is still that side and in is still that side. So I don't actually have to change any of the layout that I've got, which is nice because everything's kind of tight tolerances in that case. But one thing I am going to change, because as you can see here, what I did is I put this little rubber mount and I used the hard drive mounting that was on that piece of metal that I use in that part of the case. And it just sort of like poked through, slotted up, and I used a bit of tape, which was that made a mess. So I don't want to do that again. So to save all of that hassle, all of it, what I have done is I have got this ominous little bit of foam. And this ominous little bit of foam is housing a couple of self-adhesive strong magnets. I don't know, fancy magnets, those ones. You know, that Linus Tech Tips guy I was always getting it uber excited over. So, because we've got these, I'm just literally going to mount them on here. Because these are going to stick this to there. That's not going to be a problem. This should just mean that I can just... Because I've got two of them. One could probably hold this in place, but I bought four for like... I'll leave a link, but I bought four for like £6 or something. They were so like $10 or something. You probably don't need this level of magnet, but I wanted to test them out anyway as a source for the case, which I am continuing with. It's just, you know, I've had birthdays and a new GPU, which now we've got the new capture card. If you're wondering how it gets on, you'll have to look out for the next video, which will be captured on this card. I haven't got any backlog of anything else from the old card as it stands, so it will come through on that card. So that should just hold it in place, and I'll just be able to just pop it in, and it'll just sit there nicely in place, upside down, as that's just how it works in the case. And yeah, I'm going to take that sticker off, because who wants stickers? Get off. I don't need you telling me that you've got HDMI. I can freaking see it. There's two of them right there. But yeah, if you wondered, I use a pass-through on my... And I would also like to say that this thing did capture 120 1080p and would just capture at 120. It doesn't cause any weird oddities to your viewing or anything like that. It's a really good little unit. So if you can find this second hand, because I bought it second hand for like 40 quid or something from CEX. So it came with a warranty, but obviously I ruined that by putting this fan on. But hey, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Right, so I'm gonna go plug this into the system, and we'll wrap this little video up, okay? Stop being a dickhead and just go in the fucking hole. Come on, you're just a fucking HD, right? Don't you be a dickhead as well. You just fucking go in. Come on, you little dickhead. Oh, fucking hole. I was taking the panel off. Come on. Don't you fucking dare make me fucking take the panel off. Did I put them in the right one as well? I'd be really pissed off if I didn't. Yeah. But it's not in. Now it's in. Right, okay guys. So, it's in. It's set up. So I've got this set up now basically. It's set up to, it's receiving 144, but obviously it's going to record at 60. So my GPU over there, which is probably going to end up getting swapped out for something NVIDIA or AMD. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to step away from Intel because I can't have the onboard iGPU working whilst the ARC's in place, because Davinci just ignores the fact that the ARC is even there if there's onboard graphics. Doesn't matter how much I set the app to work off that GPU, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's changed with an update or something, but it just doesn't matter. It didn't matter. It would just default to the onboard graphics and completely ignore the ARC. I can't deal with it anymore. I would like that to be there because it kind of helps out in the background sometimes. So I'm probably going to end up going AMD or ARC, AMD or NVIDIA with a replacement capture card to the ARC. But it has been a good little card, and if you can find an ARC A380 and you're only recording like 120, 1080 or like 60, 140, 60, 1440, it can kind of handle it. It's struggling a little bit now with the 5070 Ti, which is why I've got to look at updating it. But this is in place, so it's capturing through a 140. If you're wondering, you see the filters there. It's literally just in color correction. I'm just adding 6 gamma, 4 contrast, and I'm taking away 5 in darkness. Just give it a little bit of a pop, and the sharpness is just 3. And that's just sort of like to deal with the loss that I get through using USB. I also use a bit of a workaround with keeping the refresh rate. It is set up to do 165 Hz G-Sync, and that's going to capture at 144. So if they you know, it's variable refresh rate, it doesn't matter. It's happy with it. So I do a little bit of a workaround. The way I get my G-Sync to work is that the output from the capture card actually goes to the HDMI input on the gaming system. It just goes to there, so I've just got it like going to itself. So I do have to wake it up before I do some capturing sometimes, but other than that, because basically I've got 2 display ports coming out of the GPU. One comes to my gaming monitor, the other one goes round to the motherboard, which has got a pass through to a USB-C. That also boosts the refresh rate again before it even reaches the capture card. So that kind of dealt with between the GPU and the motherboard. That's probably why the G-Sync works, because it's going through that first. Then that passes that signal through to the capture card, which then sends the signal through to this, but it receives it as a 165 Hz. So I'm guessing that the motherboard is basically allowing the G-Sync to happen before the capture card. Because as soon as it gets the message that there's a 165 Hz monitor attached to it, it's just like, right, okay, I need to power it to 165 Hz. So that allows this to G-Sync, and then because the pass-through then comes through the motherboard to the capture card, then obviously the pass-through there goes through. And it works for me anyway. It allows me to have 165 Hz G-Sync while still capturing 144. It also allowed me to have 165 Hz refresh rate G-Sync whilst I was capturing 60 FPS at 1440p, so it worked. So yeah, it's a bit of a long-winded way around it, but there's only, I don't know any other motherboard that's got that pass-through on it these days. But that's the only reason I've got that ProArt B660 creator board around there, was just purely for that DP to USB-C pass-through. Anyways, this thing is an absolute little bargain for 125 quid. If you want to see how it gets on, like I said, watch the next video. Actually, scrap that. I'm going to show you a little bit of, you know, recorded footage. But before, we're going to use Call of Duty because, you know, it's fast paced. We can test out all the sort of refresh rate and stuff and how it's recording and all that malarkey. So we can test that out. So yeah, that's what we're going with here, guys. But as this loads up, let me just go through what's going on over in OBS. 1 second. It's so rude of Call of Duty. Right, interrupt me like that. Right, whilst that loads itself up, yeah, let me bring this up. So, firstly, I'll show you what I'm actually doing in the sense of filters, like I was saying before. With the color correction, it's like adding 0.08 to gamma, adding 0.06 to contrast, and removing 0.0052 to the brightness. So it's very little adjustments that I'm doing to it, and the sharpness is just literally adding 0.03, so it's next to nothing. So that is just me just doing battling. It also makes the whites pop a little bit more, because capturing always sort of like leaves the whites a little dull and a little warm in color, and I don't like that, so I try and fight that a little bit. So there's very little there. I will say that there might be a drop in quality with my videos, and I think I now know why the A380 was chugging so hard the last few videos that I've uploaded. I mean, don't worry, I am literally asking it to be basically at 100% when it's rendering, and I'm scrubbing through and stuff. However, I think the reason it was chugging so hard was because I hadn't upgraded Davinci, and Davinci a short while ago removed AV1 encoding from the free version. Well, I was still using it, and I think literally the app was just complaining. I think the fact that they'd put that block on it and it was still able to be used on my system was making it render in stupid hours. So hopefully this is a little bit better. We will see. But yeah, in general, this is so I'm gonna have to upload in H.265 instead. So blame Davinci. And if anyone knows any free editing app that I can use that allows AV1 encoding, please let me know, because Davinci can go stuff it up their arse if they think I'm handing them 300 quid just to use it. I mean, the joke of the thing is, the absolute joke of the matter is, they could have literally given it us as like a £25 a month, 12-month subscription. You own it at the end of it. Basically the same 300 quid. They could just have asked us to pay 25 quid a month for the first year, then you own it. It's the same money. And I would have done that because I wouldn't have cared. But 300 quid, no. Even like a monthly subscription of like a £5 or a £10, I would have done that because like Davinci's easy to use and like it's quick and straightforward, and AV1 encoding. But no, they're like, oh look, we're popular now because we do AV1 encoding and Adobe don't. So let's put that behind a paywall. Well, guess what, Davinci? You can fuck off. I ain't paying you 300 quid. You missed the boat. You should have allowed it to be paid on a monthly basis, even over a 24 months period, and you're charging 20 quid a month. Like, but after the 2 years you own it, you would have made more money, and I would have happily have signed up for that. But no, I'm not giving you 300 quid. You can go fuck yourself. I'm not joking. So anyone at all, if you know any AV1 encoding app that's free or even on a monthly subscription, to be honest, as long as it's not egregious, please drop in the comments down below and let me know, and I'll happily switch over, because yeah, Davinci can go stuff it up their arse. Why give us something for free for fucking like a year and then just sack it off because now people want to use you because you've got AV1 encoding? So you're like, well, if we just put it behind a paywall, everyone will give us 300 quid. No, you can go stuff it up your arse. Like I said, if you'd have made it a monthly subscription, I'd have probably just took it, but no, you didn't want to do that, did you? So anyways, back to the point at hand. So there will be a loss in quality because I have to upload in that, and I don't see the point in putting a bolt on an exterior rendering encoder onto Davinci, because I know someone might come across like that, because the problem I would have is it's still having to render in H.265 before being converted over to AV1. Kind of pointless. Like, there is, but AV1 is better with compression and stuff, but at the end of the day, yeah, you just literally degrade. Every time you re-render a video, you're degrading it, like every time. So that bolt on essentially just re-renders it, so you're just losing a quality, and I want to provide quality to you guys, so it's just gonna have to be 265 for now. Really kind of irritated by that, but it is what it is. I'll still be recording. All the recordings on OBS will still be in AV1, so we'll get some sort of like help there. It provides a better quality. It's as simple as that. So yeah, anyway, quickly before we go in, let me bring up the properties here so you can see that yeah, we're on the live game at Ultra SGC 553 Pro, and we are at device defaults, which I've already gone into there and I've set. So it's at 1440p at 144 Hz with full color range. Everything else is sort of default, but yeah, we've got full color range, and we're receiving 144 FPS through the capture card to the GPU. Now I am recording at 60 FPS, but as I said to you before, the advantage there is that, you know, you go into it means that the GPU gets to decide what 60 FPS it is and not the capture card, so it gets basically more information than it needs, and it allows it to have a bit more of a smoother flow through that I've found. So yeah, we'll close that off and get into some gameplay, shall we? Right guys, just a quick little drop into Call of Duty. I am using G-Sync at 165 Hz, which is fine. I just killed myself. Yeah, G-Sync is working, but as I said to you before, that happens way before that all gets happened. That all happens because of the motherboard on the capture rig. That all happens before it even gets to the capture card. So, but it does, with this frame rate, it does mean that we're mostly saturating that 144 FPS that is coming in on the capture card now. So you get to basically see, we get to see how it handles it, especially with, you know, it now being fully at the GPU's discretion. It's fully at the GPU's discretion on what the 60 FPS is going to be that gets recorded. It's definitely got plenty to work with. The game's playing with quite high settings.
Primary objective is to eliminate.
I'm no good with a freaking sniper. But like, obviously, I can promise you that the G-Sync is working fine. I can inform you that much. Like, obviously the capture card's working perfectly fine. It has so far had 0 skips. Oh shit! There you are. That was a bot. That's what you get for looking at shit, innit? Let's see if we can get a loadie. Woo! To let everyone know. Mostly. Mostly because I'm an arsehole. And you never know, do you? Oh, the bot. You can tell that by the fact that I wasn't dead straight away. But as I said, you know, I'm getting I'm getting G-Sync at 150 odd FPS. We got dough. If we were greedy, we could literally get both loadies. Dickhead. Light up the skies. Oh shit. Okay, well, you know, capture wise, it skipped nothing. There's been no skip. Average render frame time is like, I don't know, 4 milliseconds. But because I'm just recording, it's not like I'm streaming or anything. There's nothing wrong with the delay. Beautiful. Go get me other gun. What a fucking bell-end little hard-scoping bitch. I can tell, look at him, little hard-scoping bitch. Pussy. That irritated the shit out of me, but I know both my guns are on that fucking box. Dickhead. It's still got the fucking thing on it. Let's go. It's like we never left. Well, that one got cash. Come on. Where are you? I'm a dad, so I'm allowed. It's alright, you know. I'm a dad, I'm allowed to use dad mode.
Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone.
Fuck off.
Valley and air. Keep your head up. Return to base to debrief.
It was all my fault. Anyways, as you can see, capture card is working perfectly fucking fine. I'm terrible. What else do you need to know? Right, back to the studio. Any game footage from here on outwards will be on this, so you'll be able to see how it gets on, what sort of quality comes through. It's already a lot cleaner than the older one because I've not had to do anywhere near the level of adjustments I'd had to make this a little bit prettier. Whereas this, I'm just playing with darkness. It's just made it a little bit darker. It'll look a bit nicer for you guys. It's nothing major. It's like literally 3s and 5s of things. So yeah, anyways, grab yourself a bargain. This is an absolute banger. I'll leave a link in an Amazon link, as always, in the description. And thanks for saying. I hope you like the content, guys. And yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Love you, bye. Like and subscribe. Thank you.